Hello, fellow builders, and welcome back to the bench. Mediocre Modeler here, and it's time to get started building again. Wonderfest was about a little over a month ago, and that's like the Super Bowl. When you get done with something like that, you got to take a break. And I took a break from building, but I kind of didn't because I have been doing some other things. I just haven't been building models and filming it. But you know what they say, builders got to build. But how do you get back into it? How do you get your motor revved and your mind set to get back into it? Well, the way I decide to do it is to do a quick build, something that I can just kind of put together quick, just to get my hands going, my brain going, and once you're in that mode, you're good to go. But what to build? That's always the question. So I answered the question by going, okay, well, why don't I finish building a model kit that I started that I just stopped for some reason? Because we all have that. We all have some model on the shelf or on the bench that you started and then you just kind of chucked back into the box and, you know, I'll get back to that. I just can't deal with that right now, or for whatever reason. And so for me, that model is, try it this way, the Tumbler. Now, it's been sitting on my model bench over there for probably 6 months. And I've moved it and I put other stuff in it and everything. And I'm like, okay, I need to complete that, because if you remember, I had done the vinyl Batman and the '89 Batmobile, and then I did the Justice League Batmobile too, and I just kind of want to finish that off. But I tried to remember, well, why did I stop working on this? And it quickly jumped out at me that the reason I stopped was I really didn't like the kit. So, okay, don't get me wrong. And I'm going to say something that's kind of controversial here. Okay, let's start. Let's start a little bit back. Just so I don't, because I know I'm going to make somebody mad. So, we're going to talk about Batman first. I like Batman. Let me show you something. Okay, let's start here with a Batman the Animated Cell, Harley Quinn, Harley and Poison Ivy, and of course Batgirl maquette. But wait, there's more. So we're starting off with Batman the movie and Return of the Caped Crusaders, which leads us right into Batman the Animated Series and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, Batman Hush, really good, Batman Brave and the Bold, Batman Beyond, Justice League, which, as we know, features Batman as well. And then we get into the animated stuff. Batman Soul of the Dragon, Dark Knight, Batman vs. Robin, Batman Assault on Arkham, Batman Superman Apocalypse, Son of Batman, Batman Bad Blood, Batman Bloodline, Bad Blood, that's what I meant, Bad Blood. And then you still have these down here. And then there are the video games. There's Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knights, and Arkham Origins. I'm sure there's probably one that I'm missing in there somewhere. And that brings us back to our full-length feature film Batmobiles. So you've got the 89 Batmobile, which was Batman and Batman Returns. And then you've got Batman Forever with Val Kilmer. And then you have Batman and Robin with George Clooney. That gets us to the Batman trilogy with the Dark Knight trilogy, and then the Batman. So all of that to say, there hasn't been a good Batmobile realistically since the '89 Batman, with the exception of Batman the Animated Series, in my opinion. And I'm sure there are going to be people who disagree with that. I mean, the Tumbler, okay. What they ended up doing with this model kit, I think, is it's good for this. It's a good assault vehicle. It's not a Batmobile. And unfortunately, the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, they're just goofy. They're just, So, and then as far as the Batman, I just don't think there's enough Batmobile there. I mean, I guess it's okay, I'm here. It's a cool car, but it's not a Batmobile. I would put that Batmobile more in the Mad Max world. If you drop that Batmobile in the Mad Max world, it would fit right in. No one would say a word. It was just like, oh, look, hey, look, yeah. So that's where we are. But let's get back to the Batmobile, the Tumbler. The Tumbler. I guess it would be important for you to know where I started and where I stopped. And basically, I started on this page and I stopped on this page. In this, you have the assembly of the seats and the center console and the driving yoke, and then the sidewalls. You've got the outer structural piece, you've got the inner piece, and then it goes to a floor pan. And it's a flat floor pan. Let's see if I can, yeah. So you got a flat floor pan that you put your seats and everything on, and then you have to get those sidewalls, and it's notched and grooved and such, but nothing was lining up. I was having to trim things back, and the pieces had alignment pegs on it, and I was getting the alignment pegs, the inner pieces on the alignment pegs, but I was still having trouble getting my things to line up and fit right. And so I was trimming and gluing and holding, and I just walked away from it going, what were they thinking? I mean, okay, hold one dang on minute here, mediocre. It clearly states right here on the box that this is a level 3 model build. Level 3. Mr. Pan is correct in his assessment. As a matter of fact, in the instruction booklet on the front page, it clearly states, this is a complex kit with many small parts. Before assembling the model, study pictures carefully. These instructions include detailed drawings and images of build-ups for reference. In addition, you will find the following tips helpful. I'll just read the more pertinent tips.
You don't have to read because I have
one.
Right.
For best results, assemble your model in the exact order indicated.
Okay, exact?
Do not hurry. Work carefully and patiently. Before cementing, it is advisable to assemble parts dry without cement, so that you may familiarize yourself with parts and fit, noting the points where cement is to be applied.
We'll test fit, of course. I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer.
Trim parts off of the sprue plastic tree carefully with a sharp edge hobby knife. Note the Tumbler is a precision tooled kit with the many small parts, delicate parts. Review all parts carefully before trimming off of the sprue to make sure you do not inadvertently cut into parts. Tweezers will be helpful for handling small parts. It's right there. You did read the instructions, right? Maybe you read the instructions, maybe you didn't. Either way, you know what they say. If you can't glue the styrene, maybe you should leave the bench. Okay, guys. Yes, Pan, it is a level 3. I've built a model or two in my day. I think I can handle that. And yes, reporter snooty model guy, I didn't follow the instructions exactly. Again, I've built a model or two in my day. It's easy to be able to look at the instructions and go, oh, well, this piece and this piece, you just need to know which parts to install. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to finish the model, we're going to follow the instructions, and we're going to follow them exactly. And at the end, we can assess. And as far as you, Colonial Mando guy, what the heck? If you can't glue the sprue, maybe it's time. Dude, oh. Just starting off, things are okay. Just following the instructions, but right there, I flipped the page and I didn't realize, but I messed up. I'm fitting pieces right now that are for the tank version and not the Batmobile version, and I won't realize that I'm using the wrong instructions for a little bit to come. I'm having to modify the model itself with the hobby knife so the part would fit. This is where I'm frustrated with the kit itself. I shouldn't have to do this kind of a modification just to get a piece to slide into a slot. Well, I'm kind of ashamed to say I've pretty much given up again. I did make life hard on myself by not following the instructions because it clearly states on right here, if you wish to build the armored tumbler with rocket launcher, continue following this assembly sequence. If you wish to build the Batmobile, skip to optional assembly sequence starting on page 15. And if I had done that, I'd started right, 15. I'd started right here and just, it had been fairly simple. But, so that's on me. Absolutely, that's 100% on me. Let's see here. Yep. Okay. The parts that I don't like, specifically, if you look at, well, let's see if you can see this, all right? All these little pieces here, these the little actuators for the airfoils, they just kind of float in midair, and you're supposed to line everything up to put the extra pieces on. I just decided I'm not going to put those on. I'm done. The other things that, speaking of floating, when you're gluing the pieces on, like these front wheel pieces, it feels like they kind of float in there, and my front pieces aren't, the front wheels aren't straight. There's a brake disc that goes in between the wheel and on this hub, and I don't think you can even see it. You might be able to see it in there. There are some little accent pieces in the corners of the left those pieces off. It's close enough. I'm just gonna put it on the shelf like this. Most people are gonna walk by it looking like, oh, it's a Tumbler. I hated that thing. That's not a Batmobile. And move on. So this gets me to the point where I'm ready to do a good deep dive into something. So that's where we are. Seems kind of like a down and depressing ending to that whole situation. But, I mean, okay, Mobius is a good model company. I love all the Battlestar Galactica stuff they've done. So, like I said, there was a lot of error by me in there, as well as the kit not necessarily being what I would consider maybe a level 3 for the reasons it would be a level 3. If you've ever built like a Gundam kit or any of the Japanese kits, and you've seen how precise those kits can be, you'll understand what I mean. If you've ever just built one of the Bondi Star Wars kits, they're little itty bitty pieces like a little actuator. They fit. You don't have to force them. You don't have to modify them. You don't have to trim them. It's just like you cut them off the sprue, and they fit where they're supposed to. And that's what my comparison, at least mentally, was. So that's kind of where my frustration lies. But all this was going to do was get the juices flowing and get me ready to be back into the model build to where I can actually get something bigger. I've been wanting to do the phaser rifle. I still have my Moff Gideon that I got from Blackheart, and I've added some 3D stuff to it. My 3D printer, it was down. I had to replace the LCD screen on the 3D printer, and that kind of hamstrung me too. I almost felt like I wanted to do stuff with 3D, and I couldn't because the 3D printer was down. But now that I've got it up and running, I've done some test prints, and it looks like it's going pretty good. So now I need to get in there and print something bigger to go, okay, I'm back. And it also explains when I was building my Moff Gideon armor why I was getting pits and cracks in the armor pieces, because the LCD was going bad. We're back. We're getting on it, and we're still going to be doing the media and more stuff. As a matter of fact, Andrea and I are getting ready to get the last episode in the can for Acolyte tonight, which means I need to go preview it. So, until next time, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Sometimes it's okay to give up on a model. So, anyway, we'll see you next time. Pew 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 pew.